Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Polar Loop. Now, the thumbnail here is I'm playing with the word polar, meaning North and South Pole, so I'm kind of playing with magnetism a bit, but that is not the plan for today's puzzle. Today's puzzle is actually going to be a little bit about polarity. It is the first time I'm playing a puzzle, I think, from Brainteaser Artisan. The name sounds familiar, that's why I'm saying I think. I'm fairly sure it's the first time I'm actually debuting one of this constructor's puzzles on the channel. It's got a 97% rating as of the time of recording, so I'm really looking forward to playing this particular one. Sorry, excuse me. It is more approachable than other puzzles I regularly feature on weekends, because it does have a 1-star difficulty rating. That's more down to me that I didn't manage to record this the day before, so I'm trying to rush it out just in time for you guys at 6 a.m. local. Having said that, I have featured quite a few difficult puzzles recently, so maybe pulling it back a bit, foot off the gas pedal, so to speak, is not necessarily a bad thing. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with Polarity Loop, Brainteaser Artisan, and the following set of rules. First one is fairly obvious, normal Sudoku rules apply. You know what that means, place the digits 1 to 9 in every row. Pardon me, I'm using the trackpad. Let me just flip back to a mouse so I can have a bit more control. Every column, and of course every 3x3 box. Digits 1 to 9, once each. Killer cages, digits in cages cannot repeat and must sum to the clue in the corner. So these 3 cells do not have any repeats, and they will sum to 15, 16, 20, etc. Digits separated by a V must sum up to 5, so these 2 cells have to add up to 5. What else do we know? Doesn't say anything about negative constraints, by the way, so I'm going to assume it doesn't apply. Digits separated by a white dot must be consecutive, and digits separated by a black dot must be in a 1-to-2 ratio. One digit is double the other. Again, so here's the explicit part, not all V's or dots are necessarily given. If this cell is a 2, actually let's go with this one too. This would have to be 1 or 4, so that one cell is indeed double the other. If this cell is a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3, so that they are indeed consecutive. Right, here is the polarity loop. Draw a 1-cell wide loop of orthogonally connected cells that must pass through every cell in every cage without visiting any cage more than once. The loop cannot touch itself orthogonally, but may touch itself diagonally. The loop acts as a polarity line, German whisper line, meaning adjacent digits must alternate between low, 1, 2, 3, 4, and high, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a lot of words to say what I believe is the following. Every cage, every cell in every cage, must be a polarity line. So in essence, we can essentially color all of these as, we'll call it green. That these cells are going to form a loop that is 1 cell wide. Somehow, how am I going to do this? Oh, yeah. Around all of the cages, I'm just picking something at random, where the cage is allowed, so the loop is allowed to touch itself diagonally, but not orthogonally. It has to be fairly obvious where the loop is going. And I'm just going to color all of these green. And then every cell that's connected to this neighbor, so if this cell is a 2, these 2 are going to have to be high digits. So it's alternating between low and high, but there's actually no real, what's the right word I'm looking for here? There is no relationship between these 2. Just because this is a 2 doesn't mean that this can't be a 6. It absolutely could be. But it must be low digit, high digit, low digit, high digit, etc. And clearly no 5s, they're not part of that polar line. So this is going to be a lot of fun. As always, if you want to play along, link in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Now, the easiest thing that comes to mind is I'm going to start coloring indeed everything that is inside the cages as green. To make sure that the loop doesn't touch itself orthogonally, I'm also going to highlight which cells are definitely not part of it. I'm going to go for red here. That wasn't intended. So these cells cannot be part of the loop. This would be green. This is red. This could be green. It'll be touching diagonally. That's allowed. This would be green. I didn't mean to put that here as red. Okay, yeah, it is red. So this loop has to get out. So these two cells are definitely green. High chance they're connected in here, but not necessarily the case, not definite. Over here is definitely not part of the loop. Again, essentially same setup that we had with the 20 case, just flip round. These two cells are definitely part of it. Can't be part of the loop because that would be a dead end. So that's a no. Same. Oh, this could be, no, hang on. This one has to escape. So this is definitely part of it. And then one of these two cells will be connected to the 15. Clearly can't be that one because it will be very ambiguous. Right? That's green, that's red, that is green. So far, we've got a decent chunk of the loop on the grid now. And we're going to have to think through some of the implications of this. Now, let's think about implications. I think I can do 6, 7 with a 2. Nothing stops me from doing that with 15. Equally, I could do 3, 4 with an 8. So this cage is not necessarily forcing, the 20 cage surely would do though. 3, 4, that's the maximum low digits I can put in. With a 9, it's just not going to cut it. So we actually do know the polarity. I'm now regretting my red decision. Let's go with a more neutral color. Let's go with gray. And this is definitely low, and these two cells are definitely high. Low, high, low, high, low. Of course, the V was there to help me. So that is clearly going to be gray. I mean, I couldn't have both cells because they couldn't both be low. So that means that is indeed green. These are going to be grays. And this is red, blue, red, blue. 16, I'm fairly sure is now forced. 3, 4, and 9, and that's our first digit. From our testing earlier with the 20, this 16 total was the maximum you can get to in a 3-cell cage, where 2 of them is low, 1 of them is high. And therefore red. And then we have no idea what's next. Although I do know what's next. I can't go in here because that would be a white Kropke dot. So even if this is low, and I'm trying to escape, there's no way I can get to a high digit and be consecutive to the low digit. So that's gray, meaning that's green, and that is low. Okay, same logic, hang on, sleuth, same logic up top. If I made that green, I don't actually have to take the second one. That would just be directly connected. That would have been fine. Yeah, ignore that. Right, same logic here. White Kropke dots, can't have both of them. So that's gray, that's green, that's now connected. And all of these are gray. Not going to have a one cell isolated loop. That's gray. I'll be honest, I barely struggled to see these. It can absolutely do something like that. It doesn't have to go straight on. But it does give me polarity, so I'm going to keep going. I know that this is going to be 1 or 2 with 6, 7, or 8. Essentially, there's a definite 6, because 7 and 8 is already 15. 6 and 7 would give me 13 with a 2. 6 and 8 would give me 14 with a 1. Okay, keep going. This is now, can't be 1, can't be 2. This is 3 or 4. Next to an 8 or 9 to get to 10, sorry, to 12, excuse me. This is low. And I'm actually not hugely sure about what goes next. Now, because we know 16 works, I think we know as a result, and we've proven here, that 15 does as well. So I can't really force polarity there. No. This being high, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's have a think about the 20 cage. These are fairly high digits because even if this is 8, 9, this is a 3. So this is 3 or 4 with 7, 8, or 9. I'm fairly sure there's a definite 9 because 7 and 8 is 15 and I can't put a 5 in here. So given there's a definite 9, that's the 9. This is 6, 7, 8 triple. That's a 9. That's a 3. Excellent. There's a 9 in here somewhere, but no clue. This is now no longer a 9. This is another 6, 7, 8. And this is 5, 6, 7, 8. Not a hugely useful pencil mark, to be fair. This is another 6, 7, 8. I'm not sure I'm going to keep pencil marking now. I'm just going to move on. 3, 4 pair gives me a 1, 2 in here, and then another 3, 4 pair there. This means that this is 1, 2. I already have 4 high digits in row 9. So the only way this is going to be consecutive, if that's 6, and that's 5, and that's my other 7, 8. This is not 6 or 9, that's 7 or 8. There's another 1, 2 in here, and then another 7, 8. I don't know what it is. This low digit could be really anything at this point. Ignore. We need a high digit. If that's a high digit, right, yes, we can use this white crop dot. So if this is green, it would have to be a high digit, which is fine. What is this cell though? Given I've already placed all the high digits and the 5, so how am I going to have a consecutive digit next to a high digit? That's not possible. So that's definitely gray. That's my next connection. And therefore that's blue, that's red, that's gray again. I'm going to say all of these are now going to be gray. The loop must escape. And then somehow it's going to join up here, and this is somehow going to join up there. We don't know yet how. Fairly obviously it could be something as simple as that. Actually, we can say that this is gray. We've already covered this with white crop dots. So this is gray. This is green. Green, that's that loop section sorted. And we can color all of these now. One thing that I do remember we've used in the past is the checkerboard pattern. And I'm actually just having a quick look, and unless I've made a mistake. No, it does apply. Orthogonally connected, right. Reason I sort of brought this up is it's going to help us figure out how to connect these two at some point, I suspect. But let me explain what I meant by that checkerboard pattern. Because the cells are only ever orthogonally connected, the polarities are always going to end up on essentially the same chessboard set. So if you color this entire grid as black and white chess sets, you're going to find that all of these are the low digits, as you can see. Well, obviously not the 5s, but anything that's on the loop. And the opposite checkerboard is going to be the high digit. So we know that this absolutely could be red, but that wasn't useful. Where am I going? Shall I move on? I'm going to move on. Right, 3, 4 would be 7. This is 8. So this is 8 or 9. This is 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Essentially, I have to have a 4 because 2 and 3 will only get me to a 5, and this would require a 10, which is not possible. That is not a 3. 2, 3, 4 in here, admittedly could be a 5, so not great. High digit on a black crop dot, this is only 6 or 8. this is 3 or 4, I've actually got line of sight of all of the low digits. 4 of them. So to be fair, this is either 5 or a high digit. And obviously if it's high, it feels very likely that they're connected this way. Okay, I'm gonna move on again and just have a think around the rest of it. So this is 2, 3, or 4 with 7, 8, or 9. This is a definite low digit. I don't want to color the entire grid, but that could be a 5. In fact, is a 5, and therefore this is a 4. Essentially, because we've got all the high digits and the 5 in here, this was going to be a low digit. This was not a low digit. So it had to be a 5 connected to a low digit, which is helpful because that gives me a 3 here, a 4 there, a 3 there, which tells me that this is 7, no, 8. You add up to 11 next to the 9. That 8 removes the degree of freedom that we had here. So that's 6, 7 with a 2. That 3 down here hasn't helped. That 7 might help. No, it doesn't. This is still 6, 8, or 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not actually not 4 because the 4 is inside the 15 gauge. But it's not a particularly useful pencil mark, to be fair. This is not a low digit we've established. It's not a 5. This is another 6, 8, 9. There's another 6, 8, 9, and then another 1, 2 somewhere in here. It could actually still be this cell. It just means that this would be a high digit. Which it is, because we've got all the low digits in row 1. So this is actually a high digit. And where's my 4th low digit? Because I've only got 1, 2, 3. The 4th one is in here, which is another 1, 2. And therefore this is another 6, 8, 9. That does give me a 6, 8, 9 triple, meaning one of these is the 6. That is not the 6. Where am I going with all of this? So these are from 4, 5, 6, 7. Just looking at the 3, 4 in here, and of course the 8 and 9 in there. This being a low digit, I mean, it's 1, 2, or 4, and I can get away with a 4, and I can just have something from 5, 6, 7 in here. Remember, there's another 1, 2, and another 7, 8. Actually, that 4 is helpful. That's 3, that's 6. That 3 removes a 3 from here. It removes the degree of freedom that we had. 6 here means that's 9 there. 2 and 4 says this is now an odd digit, so it's 1, 3, or 5. 2, 4 pair removes the 2 from here. This is now 1, 2, 4. Still don't know what this is. Because again, it's 5, 7, or 8. It's not a low digit. And that could be 4, 5, 7, 8. That is quite a large spread. It's not 9, it's not 6. Gonna move on. I mean, this black Kropke dot wasn't hugely useful, so I feel like I must be missing something. So no 3 on either side. It's not 3, 6 pair. Hang on. Right, let's think about the connection in here. Whether I go here or go there, one of these 2 digits, hang on, if that's high, that could actually be low. So I could actually have a 4 in here if the loop turns. because that would necessitate a 4 there. And then I'd be definitely connected here. Right, so one of these is the connection point for the loop, just because of where the grays are. And I'm either going straight across or I'm doing something that looks like this. Kind of useful, not very useful right now. Low digits, 3 of them. Admittedly, that could be the 4th, so doesn't force a 5 in here. That is now clearly gray because that's a dead end. I think we've just established that because of the setup of these grays, I'm definitely going to take one of these white crop key dots, which means I would definitely take one of these 2 cells. So realistically, the rest of the grid now is just basically gray. I don't actually need that color anymore. How are we doing for time? It's saying that it's coming up to 6, and therefore there's a definite 5 in here. I should do more Sudoku. When I say it's coming up to 6, it just means that I'm going to be a little bit late because I don't feel like I'm going to finish momentarily. So remember, I said there's another 1, 2, and then another 7, 8. That cannot be 1 or 2 because I'd have a 1, 2 pair. So that's definitely a 4. That's 5, 6. That's definitely a 3. That's a 2. That's a 1. That's a 2. And in here, there's another 1 with a 7, 8. And now we've got a 1 or 2 in here. And then the remaining cells are 1, 2, 7. That's the 7, because it cannot be 1 or 2. That's the other 1 or 2. That's my 8. This is now a 1, 7 pair. This is not 8 or 9. That is my 6. That's what I meant to do. 8, 9. I've got a 9 at the top. That's 8. That's 9. Yeah, 2 more Sudoku sleuth. Not sure why I have to always make it seem like such a revelation every time. So up top, this is either 4, 5 or 7, 8 pair. That is not a 5. So can't connect to anything. The 5, 6 in here. Remember, there's a 6, 7 pair in the column. So that's the 5. That's the 6. That means that this is another 1, 4. So that's a low digit. So I've got my 4 low digits in box 3, meaning these are 5 and a high digit. That's the 5. That can't be a 6 because that can't be a 3. So the high digit here is an 8. That's a 4. More importantly, with the 5 in here, that means I can't turn the loop. The loop closes here with a high digit and removes the 5, 4 option. This is a 7, 8 pair now. And we probably have enough now to just complete the puzzle. So that's the plan. 1, 2 in here. 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 5. Now we've got a 1, 2 pair. So this is essentially either a 5 or another high digit. So if this is 5, 6, this will be 7, 8. Otherwise, these are high and this is the 5. Interesting. Okay, it can't be a 6 for some reason. 6 would make this 7. And then obviously the white crop key dot would break. Fair enough. 7, 8 in here. 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8 again. We said this is a high digit. We've established that previously. So it's not 6 or 9. That's another 7, 8. And this is another high digit. So that's polarity done really in column 1. Can I see any more obvious Sudoku? I'm sure there is that I'm just totally missing. So in addition to the 9, there's a definite 3 plus a 1 or 4, counterpart of this 1 or 4. So I think I've used all the white crop keys at this point, haven't I? Sort of. All the black crop keys. And frankly, all the polarity. So what I am missing It's just plain old Sudoku, like a 5 in here, which removes a 5 from there. Give me a 1-3 pair, a 2-4 pair. This is 6, 7, 8. It's not 6 or 8 or 9. That's 7. These aren't 7. That's 8. That's 6. There are 7 9s are left. That 8 bounces back, gives me 7 and 8 in here. Not 6 or 8, that's 7, that's 6, that's 7. No 7s in any of these now. The 8 is clearly not connected to either cell. That's 6, that's 5, that's 8. That 1 or 4 does nothing. That is 1 or 2, still doing nothing. In here is a 9, which can only go there. And then another, hang on, that 4. Yeah, so 1-2 pair, and then 5. Yeah. 1-2 pair has given me 7, 1. And it looks like I'm just going to have to do a bunch of pencil marking. Just having a look to see if I can avoid it. 2-4 pair. Got all the low digits, haven't I? No, I need a 2, which is in here. 8? No. I've broken it. How did I break it? It's going so well. I don't understand. I'm just going to double check everything again. It must have been some shenanigans I got up to in box 6 and that this is not the 8. So 15, 12, 15, 20, 16. Yes, will be 11. I am oscillating. Fairly sure I haven't made a mistake there. So it is almost certainly dodgy Sudoku that got me into this trouble. Essentially, I need an 8 in column 2 and it conflicts, in case you haven't seen it. So what I'm tempted to do, and I don't like doing this, but I don't really want to rewind that much, is keep going and hopefully uncover where the conflict was a bit later. Not a great plan. A plan. I don't want to use the 8 again. See, the 8 is what got me in trouble. Oh, what did I do with that? Yeah. Just total idiocy on my part. I'm so sorry. The 8 goes here because that's not a 2. I have a 2-4 pair. That's 6. That was true Sudoku blindness. Wow. Let's move on. So I was pencil marking in here. I said this was 159. There was no 5. 3, 4, 6, wasn't it? Actually, the 6 is just placed. And 2 something. 2, 8, which is not in here. So that's the 2, 8, plus whatever this digit is, which is a 7, which does give me a 9, a 7, a 4, a 2, a 4. Doesn't result. Yeah, it does. 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 1. We here have a 3, not a 3, not a 9. It doesn't matter actually. Let's just place the whole lot. 3, 4, 9. not 9, not 3, not 4. I need a 1, a 2, and a 5. How am I not resolving these? What am I missing? Almost certainly Sudoku, like that 4. There we go. Yeah, I made that look harder than it really was, which is, not, to be fair, not hugely unusual for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and maybe the video. It was an example of how not to do Sudoku, if it was a good example of how to do variance. And I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.